The Saints' last preseason game has come and gone, and up next is Cutdown Day on Tuesday. Welcome back to The Dot, post-game coverage presented by Matt Bauer's Auto Group. I'm Brooke Kirchhofer alongside Nick Underhill. We're going to get to who we're up on and down on after this last preseason game. Nick, go ahead and give us who you're up on after this.
I thought the guy that I'm most up on, and because I thought it was the most important moment in the game, was Alontae Taylor breaking up that deep pass early in the game. Came up, was a little bit behind on it, closed in, punched it out. A huge play for him, and I think he needed that moment. There's 32 guys, I believe, that didn't dress for this game. All of the other fellow starters, all the other key players, Alontae Taylor's still on the field. I think it was kind of a message to him that he still needs to prove something. First opportunity to do it, he came out and did it.
You made a good point that I think it was what part of the game it was in, but you had said, I can't believe Jalen Smith is still in the game, just because it seems like he has proven time and time again. It started in California, and for me, I'm up on him, but I continue to be up on Jalen Smith. Like, his trend continues to move forward with the Saints. I think he has come off the street and has won that job, that third job outside of Demario Davis and Pete Werner. But I'm down on tight end Lucas Kroll. He was somebody that needed to have a really big game. After that second preseason game where we did see some drops, he was targeted 15 times in this game, only with 7 receptions. Now, I won't give that all to drops, the ones that he did not pull in. Maybe it was Jay Kaner on some of those. But Lucas Kroll just, to me, didn't do enough to make the 53-man roster.
Yeah, and that's the point there. People are going to say 7 catches, 100 yards. Oh, my God, he had a great game. Jay Kaner is going to him every single time. But he had chances these last 2 games to make plays that put him on the 53-man roster. We want a reason to cut the fullback. We want a reason to keep another tight end on our projections. And I don't know that he's taken advantage of his opportunities to do that. So, yeah, I would not disagree with that he did not capitalize on his chance to make the team so far throughout these last 2 games.
The guy who popped on offense, we'll get to the guys really on defense, Jimmy Graham. Finally looked like the Jimmy Graham of old. He kind of like pump faked on the one touchdown. He looked like he was going to dunk over the goalpost, but he didn't. But this is really the first time, and even Dennis Allen said too, that we've seen Jimmy Graham kind of have multiple catches and really look like his old self.
Yeah, and he's gotten his legs under him more and more and more. And when he first got here, I thought he was kind of moving a little bit heavy. He doesn't look like he's moving heavy anymore. I thought it was interesting that DA said when he pictures Jimmy Graham, that's kind of the guy that he's seeing now. I think we all kind of see that a little bit. And I wasn't necessarily sure going into the Chargers trip, like if he was going to make the team. Like when people ask me, say, I don't know, he's got something to prove. I think he's definitely making the team at this point. Today was a huge moment for him. He practiced well this week. I think Jimmy Graham's going to contribute in a small manner for this team, but he's going to be an important part of their short yardage package and maybe even in the red zone.
I think Isaiah Foskey was always going to make the team, especially being a second-round draft pick, but he definitely made the case for himself on that sack that was helped by Brian Brzee early on in the game. We've been waiting to see some flair, some pop from Isaiah Foskey. We finally got it in this game.
An important moment for him, too, probably just in terms of his confidence to know that he can go out there and make a play and get a sack after he had all these sacks at Notre Dame before. It was so hard for him getting going, but he got going today, and it was a huge moment for sure.
Now, the kicker competition has been one that has been rampant throughout training camp, but it seemed like it tipped in favor of Will Lutz today. Yeah,
they were kind of feathering back and forth between the 2 guys. I don't know which way it's going to go for sure. I would probably go Will Lutz at this point. I thought Grupe had the opportunity, 60 yards. If you hit that kick, you are the kicker for this team. It could still go back to him possibly, but I got to go with Will Lutz. He's made like 95% of his kicks overall. We know what his downs look like. This is a team that desperately needs to win games. You have a coach that has to prove some things. I don't know if you take the chance. I don't know if I saw enough from Grupe for him to run away with this, but if they went with them, I wouldn't think it was crazy either. So I think it is very much up in the air over the next 2 days.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We had a chance to talk to both kickers after the game, and for Will Lutz, it's been a very emotional last couple months.
I feel like I've had arguably my best training camp I've ever had. Took advantage of every opportunity I was given. These next 72 hours are tough for everyone around the league, including myself. Every year, it doesn't get easier. So, like I said, all I can do is take advantage of the opportunities I'm given, and I feel like I did that.
What does New Orleans and this organization meant to you?
Man, you are going to get me emotional. 7 years. I don't know. I got nothing for you right now. It's just tough. It's an amazing place to play.
Yeah, a hard spot to be in for both Will Lutz and Blake Grupe, who, in my opinion, have done enough to show that they deserve to be NFL kickers. I don't know if, obviously, the Saints have a big decision to make. Is it going to be Will? Is it going to be Blake? But I think if Blake does not make this team, he could very well be a starting kicker for someone else.
Yeah, and I actually asked him about that in postgame, and he kind of said he's, staying within himself. He views it as an internal battle. But I think when those quiet moments come around, he's definitely looking around at the other kickers in the league and thinking, okay, I can beat him. I think he is one of the best 32, and I think that's why this is such a hard decision for them and why it's been able to go on this far. Other times when they've had a kicker in here, it's kind of pretty well decided well beforehand, especially when the incumbent is as strong as Will Lutz. Grupe gave him everything that he could, and it might ultimately end up being enough. But yeah, I think it's going to be fascinating to see if Grupe isn't the kicker here or Will isn't the kicker here. Either one of those guys are going to be kicking somewhere this year.
Yeah, and we had a chance to talk with Grupe about missing that 60-yard field goal after the game.
I'm just thankful for the opportunity. I mean, to come in, compete against a guy that's done it for a long time. I feel like I made the most out of every single day, treated every day like my last, try to make every single kick, and just go out there and have fun. You can't get too worked up about the circumstances, and just try to go out there and have fun and get it done.
Yeah, the future is still unknown for Grupe. Will he stay in New Orleans or will he go to another city? As far as quarterback Jake Haener, he will likely stay in New Orleans, but the reps will certainly taper off now.
Yeah, he's definitely staying here. But yeah, that's what's fascinating when they keep three quarterbacks. And one of the reasons why you would maybe want to get somebody out if you want to develop somebody is that the third quarterback doesn't really get any action throughout the whole entire season. The starter runs the starting offense, the backup runs the scout team, the third guy watches and sits in the meeting room. So if you're Jake Haener, you might not really have a chance to throw a meaningful pass again until next year in OTAs. So that is a long time to go. It is hard to learn things in the meeting room if you can't apply them on the field. So it's going to be an interesting year for him just as far as finding opportunities to get better.
Yeah, and here's Haener after the game on how he felt like he performed throughout the preseason.
I'm just going day by day. I think I've shown them that I can be productive and do a lot of really good things, and I don't think they expect things to just happen overnight for a rookie. I think you got to go in, you got to learn, you got to go, like I said, through the ups and the downs, and I think I've had a lot more good than I've had bad this camp, and you guys have seen it. You guys have been there every single practice, and I think there's a lot to learn from, a lot to grow from, but there's a good foundation where we're starting, so just keep getting better.
We will have continuing coverage from the Saints' third preseason game. We're going to dive a little deeper into some of these topics. Our projected 53-man rosters are out. Cutdown day is Tuesday. We're going to be talking about all of that in our next show on NewOrleans.Football coming up on Monday.